Eventually I will figure out something to do with the black bars on the sides of these streams/videos. But I'm still figuring all this out. Today is a special treat though. Today is Resident Evil Survivor. This game is... it's not good. I don't think it's bad either. I personally enjoy it. There is a program called Mouse Injector you can use to play this with a mouse and keyboard. I considered doing it, but for the sake of showing these games off, I don't want to give myself an advantage. This game is very easy for a few reasons, and the mouse and keyboard makes it actually just a joke, even though it makes it more fun and just more enjoyable because of how awkward this is to control. So no mouse injector. This is all going to be on controller. Let's dig right in, shall we?
Resident Evil Survivor.
You gotta love how he pronounces resident right there.
In 1998, a disaster struck the quiet Midwestern residents of Raccoon City. An uncontrollable outbreak of the Umbrella-created T-virus transformed the city into an inescapable death trap. To stop the outbreak from spreading, Umbrella Incorporated was forced to wipe out the entire city. However, this was not the only location where an outbreak occurred.
You're not going to get away.
So we get to open up with a man eating shit and then a helicopter crash. Pretty good start, I would say. Oh hey, no worries. If you wanna stop in for the joy of this game, go for it. Everyone should get to experience the glory of this. So our protagonist here has amnesia. Some background to this game. This game takes place on an island that has a tyrant-producing plant. You can ignore that speedrun thing that popped up. I do retro achievements. I've already gotten all the achievements on this game because I do enjoy it that much, even if it is kind of a shit show. So, movement's kind of slow and sluggish. It is a first-person PS1 game. So the original release for this game was in, I believe, 1999. Or, not 1999, it was in 2000. But I believe we didn't get it here in North America until 2001. Realistically, I believe in North America we got this after Code Veronica. But I felt like playing this before that just made more sense. So the movement, it's still tank control movement, just in a kind of sluggish first person. And then in order to shoot, you have to hold the button and bring up this reticle. Now, where you shoot an enemy doesn't really matter on almost every enemy in the game. And yeah, like headshots for zombies, that's not really a relevant thing. One kind of neat thing this game does have, though, is it does branching narratives. So in a few sections, this first one being, well, the first one, I'll mention it here in a
You
moment.
look familiar, but um, but I just can't remember.
Ark Thompson. Such a cool name.
Though I can't remember anything, I know that this was no way for anyone to die. What?
So that's how the game is played. It has a very hard lock on. Even if you try and aim at their head, there will be like a magnetizing that will aim for more of like center of mass. So this key is kind of a jack of all trades. This is the first branching narrative. We can go in this door here, which I believe is a church. There's this door here, which I think is a movie theater. And then the final door here, which I think is an arcade. And this happens in a few different spots. Gonna go in this door. There is kind of one outlier. So, in the sections where you're gonna pick... Oh, no, I messed up. I think this one's the movie theater. Anyway, though. So, regardless of what direction you pick, you're gonna wind up in the same spot. And this is true for all but one of the choices. So this game kind of has like a hidden path. I'm not gonna show it off because I would have to replay the entire game because I don't think it's possible to complete on a new game file. But it's possible to take a route through the sewers that has you fight two of the Resident Evil 2 alligators in a relatively small enclosed area. And it's rough. You on a new game file, you will not have the weaponry to deal with that. But this is one of those games that has New Game Plus, and you can carry over pre-established weapons and all that. So maybe I'll do a little separate side thing at some point and show off that route because it is kind of interesting, and I don't know if too many people know about it. Another interesting bit that I'll show off when I get a little bit further in. So the primary reason this game is so easy is the only time an enemy can hit you is if you can see them. This is a very abusable mechanic, especially for like lickers and hunters, because as long as you're keeping yourself in a position where you cannot see them, they cannot hurt you. And you'll notice later in the game there will be hunters constantly trying to jump into my field of view just so they can hit me. It's very goofy. I understand why they did it, but that doesn't change the fact that it's weird and just kind of funny. One thing very interesting about this game is the music is so polarizing, because like that track that just played is pretty good. But this game is also infamously has some of the like worst Resident Evil music, on par with the basement theme for RE1. This game is also absurdly short. If I remembered the point A to point B route, like exactly, this could be done in like under an hour, easily. Yeah, kind of a weird movie theater to just kind of hang out and watch by yourselves, but you know, hey, everyone has their kinks. I'm not here to shame. So for the most part, the sections of this game are short. So notice how that zombie didn't hit me, instead he's turning me to face him because he cannot hit me until I am looking at him. So I'm gonna kind of hug the wall looking away. The phone hang up, by the way. So I can stand right here and stare at this phone. You can hear the dogs. They're not even attempting to hit me because they just cannot hit me right now. You know, this room in particular, that rule is really important because having to deal with 2 lickers in such a small area like this. But it's like, as long as I can't see them, they just kind of fucked off because they knew there was nothing they could do. This is literally the Tyler the Creator tweet. Like, just close your eyes and they can't hurt you.
Vincent.
Who is this? Vincent? Who's that? Wait. Am I Vincent?
Vincent, you are a murderer. A murderer.
A murderer? What are you talking about? Answer me. Who did I kill?
So some guy just decided to call me and tell me that I'm a murderer and that my name is Vincent. Is he telling the truth? Who fucking knows?
I won't allow you to escape. You're going to pay for what you've done.
I have no idea who the fuck this guy is. Like, I don't know if it's said.
What? Helicopter? No. The cleaners have already arrived? They must want this mess taken care of very quickly.
So yeah, I have no idea who the fuck that guy is. So the choice, there was another 3-door choice that just played out. And there is a very slight story difference based on which door you take. It basically changes who your quote-unquote villain is. So because I went in the hospital, that man you just saw in that cutscene is going to be my, like, villain. But the thing is I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't know if they ever mention it. He looks a lot like the guy that fell off the helicopter at the start. But other than that, I could not tell you his relevance. There's no way to manually reload your gun in this game. You either have to completely empty your mag, or you have to go through a room transition. It will reload your guns, reload your currently equipped gun, every time you go through a loading door. You also have infinite pistol ammo, so, you know, you don't have to be stringent with the ammunition. Another little quirk of this game is it has lives, and the only way to ever save your game is to either beat it or die. This really feels like a game that was supposed to come out in arcades, similar to like Survivor 2 did, and it just never happened for whatever reason. And honestly, that's fine. I'm glad I get to like experience Ark Thompson and Vincent and fucking. There's a small band of characters in this game. None of them are particularly memorable, but like, I don't know. This game has a weird charm to it. I don't think it's particularly bad. I'll tell you, I have more fun with it than I do with Resident Evil Zero. I am dreading getting to that. I am an RE0 hater. I will say I miss getting to skip door transitions playing on the Japanese ports for REs 1 through 3. There's a zombie right next to me, but as long as he doesn't put his hands on me. Oh. So our pro tag here can take damage really well. But damage isn't really much of a problem. Because of, you know, the whole looking at you thing. Oh. So I don't really know if I have too many more, like, facts about this game outside of the few things I've mentioned. With it being so short, and I guess one thing I can bring up is, so I mentioned that on a casual playthrough, this game is pretty short. A casual playthrough, this shouldn't take you more than like maybe an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours. And when you know what you're doing, this game can be done in under an hour with ease. And I'm fairly certain this game was a full price release. So there are people who paid $60 for this on launch. And that's sad. I feel like that's why this game has such a bad rap. And you know, those people, they probably have a reason to be a hater. So each of the 3 branches at this second junction lead to a new handgun. They have little caveats of, you know, having like less ammo capacity but more damage, slower fire rates for more damage, and all that. I feel like the default pistol is fine. I think it actually has like the perfect balance of things. It really comes down to preference, because, I mean, outside of like boss fights, for the most part, you really don't need to and probably shouldn't kill things. Zombies, sure, but it's like wasting, you know, well, I guess the tyrants as well. So I mentioned that this game takes place at on an island that houses a tyrant factory. So with that, there are a lot of tyrant fights, like a lot. Like, I'm pretty sure canonically this character has, like, the most Mr. X kills under his belt. Like, I don't know if they just make him really shitty over here or what, but... So that noise you're hearing is TV static. TV's not even moving though. Like, it's statically static. So I'm absolutely not going through this as optimally as I could. It's been a little while since I've done the achievement hunt for this game, so I don't quite remember the pathing as well as I would like to. So along with the handgun, you do have a few other Resident Evil staples. There is a shotgun, there is a magnum, there's a... Well, in this game they call it the grenade gun. It is not a grenade launcher, it is a grenade gun. For the most part, you'll really only use them for boss encounters though. Another manhole opener. Hope you're ready for some sounding. Yeah, you can just like shoot out the various like windows in this game as well. I don't think there's any particular reason to do so. It's not like Dark Side Chronicles or Umbrella Chronicles where there's like hidden goodies behind like glass and lights or a scoring system or anything like that. So here we have our first Mr. X. Yeah, he does a cool little jump scare on you. I'm sure that's spooky. I have a weird history with horror. I was a huge pussy up until about the age of 15. And then it's like something, a switch just kind of flipped in my head. And now I love horror. It doesn't scare me in the slightest. Like, I hate saying that because it makes me sound like I'm trying to sound tough, but like, just scares and jump scares and shit like that, it just doesn't do anything to me. I like it. I like the general atmosphere of horror and just the themes, and it's very charming to me. Oh, okay. Yep, this room's a fucking nightmare. Okay. So those spiders will just kind of ruin your life before, you get a chance to do much. Like, that is unironically probably the third hardest room in the game. If we're not counting, like, the hard route. The hidden hard mode route. This menu is also very slow and sluggish. But this game is jank as fuck, and gotta make do. So this is the second area that you get spit out in after the other paths. If I go this way, there'll be like that ladder here, talks about the manhole lid being closed, and then that door there. Those are where the other two areas would have spit me out. So you get some slight deviations, but it all leads to the same spot. It's like a telltale thing. It's illusion of choice. Janitor Andy.
A picture. No, this is me. I am Vincent. It was all my fault. Who are you?
Wait. Please don't kill me.
Kid walked in and started fucking
I
emoting
didn't
on
know
me.
anything about you then.
Stop.
So, Zoomer showed up and did Fortnite dances. So he got some shotgun bullets. We don't use shells in these parts. We use shotgun bullets. So I'm kind of skipping over the files. Mostly they're not very interesting reads. One thing I will say about this game's plot, though, is it's particularly fucked up. So, a big component of this game's story is essentially children are kidnapped from all over the world and brought to this island. And then they, like, harvest a chemical from the children's brains for viral research. The chemical is called non-hetero beta serotonin, I believe, which is just funny. And in order to have the strongest sample of the chemical, the children need to be as scared as possible. So there's no administering of sedation or anything like that. They literally like steal their brain juice while they are alive and awake, and it's grim. It is a grim fucking situation on this island. And it's all done by Vincent. Me, apparently. So, you know, you ever thought you were having a bad day? At least your non-beta heteroserotonins aren't being stolen from your fucking brain. So we're actually in the prison now where the children are held while waiting to have their brains fucked with. This is kind of a weird instance of like enemies respawning right here in this room. One thing that is kind of neat about this game that you don't really see before it is this game does actually mix enemy types. Of having, you know, more than one type of enemy in the same room together. That dude just tripped like a fucking idiot. Yeah, so as you can tell, the gameplay in this is not particularly compelling. There really are no puzzles or anything like that. It's part of the reason I understand why a lot of people say they don't like this game or they think it's bad. And I would agree with that sentiment if it was longer. The fact that it is so short, I feel like it ends nice and precisely when it would start to wear itself thin. This stream also lags for some reason. I don't really know why. So here we're going to take a little trip to the shower. Who doesn't want to visit the prison shower? It feels like a rite of passage. But the main reason I'm in here is for some reason this is where the shotgun is. I mean, I get it. I guess if you had a shotgun in prison, you'd want to bring it to the showers. You must protect your virginity at all costs. So here is where I mentioned before how the hunters will constantly try and jump in front of you. And that is what they are doing right now, to try and hit me. Because they know they cannot hit me otherwise. That makes hunters really the only, like, particularly threatening enemy in the game, because of how persistent they are of getting into your line of sight. There is, like, one room right at the end of the game that is an actual disaster, nightmare area, if you don't know about being able to just not be in line of sight. So here we get a little rope screen transition. I don't think we get anything like this until Resident Evil 0 with the hook shop. So I believe the other two paths, back at the second crossroads, if you would have taken either one of those, this is actually where you would encounter your first Mr. X. He's free, and similar to RE2, he does drop ammo. So I believe this is another split. I can either go up on the roof, or I can go in this room. Well, So, Mr. X there, as you can see, he can kind of cheat the system. He will sometimes be able to hit you if you're not looking at him. I don't really know if there's like a distinguishable way to tell. But that one in particular is worth taking down for some flame rounds. IVs do appear in the game, and if you do want to be on the careful side, they're worth dealing with. So I'm now in a nightclub. Because you know. So this nightclub is actually mentioned in some of the notes. Or in one of the notes in particular, that the child we saw earlier, his name is Lot. He is a child of one of the researchers who worked here. Apparently the slaves would occasionally be brought to the nightclub to just kind of hang out. I'm assuming it was to like break them down better for the extraction of non-beta heteroserotonin. So this Mr. X encounter is funny, because, I mean, just look at what we're fighting. I'm gonna say his name again. I like how Ray Narvaez Jr. put it. It's basically like you're fighting in a bathroom stall. But did just want to really emphasize how much you can abuse the sight system in this game to get easy kills on things that would normally be much tougher. Especially with having infinite pistol ammo. I personally like to stock up ammo when I play this game just because while things aren't too hard, the final boss is kind of a sponge. I'm now a VIP.
Umbrella. So this is where the city is controlled from.
I think he's shitting
What's
himself.
happening to me?
So the Heaven's Night nightclub is where I just came out of. If I would have taken the upper path, I would have came out that door right there. So I don't exactly know this game perfect inside and out like I would say I do with RE3. But if I had to guess, I'd say probably getting kind of close to like the halfway mark of the game already. So now we have some lickers showing up, but they've never been less of an issue than they are in this game. Outside of maybe one or two in particular guys that are just kind of assholes. Another good way to kind of avoid damage in this game if you do actually want to fight things is to just kind of walk backwards. As you saw with the hunter there, I was just kind of walking backwards, and then when he swung at me, he couldn't hit me.
Hello? Can you hear me? Who are you? What are you doing? Answer me!
So now we're in the room that we saw the guy. I still have no idea who the fuck he is. In his little scene earlier. With a bit more amnesia flashbacks happening. Look, the key card. Oh my god, it was trapped. So they like still kind of make a deal of Mr. X like all throughout this game, despite it being clear very early on that they aren't really a threat. Like, Mr. X in this game is just free ammo, given the unlimited pistol ammo situation. He did knock the one card away that was there, though. So, you know, good on him. Oh, okay, yeah, it gets knocked to the side of the desk here. And now we have hunters here instead of, or lickers instead of hunters, so this room is now safe. Like, I want to know where this guy got just the infinite ammo from. Like, is that just like a side effect of having amnesia? This song is also really strange because it goes from just being kind of like a chill bop to just going really hard for no reason.
What?
Vincent? It's me, your mother.
My mother?
Vincent, please. Listen to your mother. I want you to leave Umbrella. I want you to stop performing those terrible crimes and just come back home.
So I guess my mom's here somewhere.
Stop it! Let me go!
Shh! Don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you. What is the tape you're listening to?
I don't know. I was only listening to it because I'm so bored. My brother told me to wait here. Oh, let me go!
Your brother?
Leave her alone! Lily, run, go!
Lord!
Put that down. I won't harm you. I promise.
Liar. You'll kill me if I drop it. I'm not stupid. Now stay back, don't come any closer!
Why does he think a bat would stop me from killing him?
I know you think that I'm a murderer, but you're wrong. I would never do anything like that.
So that's our two other characters that you'll see throughout the game is Lily and Lot. For some reason, I guess tapes from my mother are stored here, and she was just kind of listening to them out of boredom. None of it really makes sense. This is one of those games where you play it operating off of the you just turn your brain off and go. Look who it is. Yeah, so I haven't been counting, but this is probably close to the 10th Mr. X I have encountered already. And I've been playing this for 40 minutes. So you're supposed to interact with that and turn off this alarm, but the alarm doesn't really matter if you're just running through and leaving. Dogs can be kind of a pain in the ass too. So here we have the grenade gun, Just kind of stored on the hood of a car in the garage, which is interesting. So dogs will have this habit of body blocking you, but they don't try as hard as the hunters do to get in your line of sight. So they're not too bad to squeeze by. So, I guess maybe some history on this game and just what spawned of it is, this is the first game in, like, the Resident Evil, or I guess Capcom Light Gun series. I can't say exclusively Resident Evil because one of the games is not Resident Evil. So this was the first one, and then there's Survivor 2, which is essentially an arcade super compressed version of Code Veronica told through 5 stages. That game is like really bad. It's still like fun to play for a playthrough or two, but it's definitely not good. And then there is Resident Evil Dead Aim, which I know some people think I've seen that, you know, consensus that Dead Aim is a better game than this. I don't think it is, personally. I feel like Dead Aim is really insufferable for a few reasons, and I'll go into those when I get there. It's another one of those that I think is, like, kind of okay for a playthrough or two. But the characters are all kind of insufferable. There's, like, some story revisionism that they attempted. And one of the guns is a very serious, like, seizure threat. It is painful to use. But those are all worries for a little while from now. I'm pretty sure at least they'll have like 4 games before Dead Aim. So now we're in Lily and Lot's house. Here we have the parents' bedroom. There's a zombie kind of hanging out between the beds. I don't know if it's maybe one of the parents or maybe they kept a pet and they were into like some freaky shit. But he's sad enough, you know, he's not even allowed in the bed, and I'm just gonna let him be. Oh my god. Alright, who's in the closet?
Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Where's your brother, Lot?
Please, you have to save my brother. He said he's going to the factory by the ropeway.
Factory?
So I don't know if they just didn't have anybody appropriate on hand, but this kid absolutely does not sound like a child. Like, she sounds like she could be in her 30s easily.
There are tons of scary monsters there. I know that if he goes there, he's going to be killed.
What?
Please, we've already lost Mum and Dad. You've got to help my brother. Please.
I promise. Don't cry anymore, Lily. I may have been a bad person, but that was before. That's not who I am now. I will save these 2 kids. I swear it. Lily, You hide here. I'll go find your brother and then come back for you.
So realistically, Lily and Lot, they got it pretty good. If, you know, playing as Sherry in Resident Evil 2 is anything to go by, the zombies can't grab children. So as long as they stay away from, like, the stronger BOWs, they should be pretty good. So now that I went in there and actually talked to her, these dudes busted down this gate. And then I believe coming up is like the final, like, branching path. So, yep, this room is kind of what I was talking about, where they finally learned how to, like, mix enemy types together. Because this has 2 dogs and a hunter, and that is unprecedented. So another thing I guess I haven't really mentioned, I've just kind of been doing, you don't actually hit a button to interact with things, you just kind of like slam your dick into it. And that's how everything is dealt with. The power of the non-beta hetero serotonin. Oh, you bastard. Oh my god, what could that be? Yeah, that one's kind of a cheap blow. You can, like, preemptively just, like, have a shotgun out and ready for that. So this room has this Mr. X, and there are also a couple of dogs in the background. Down in this X isn't hard. If the dogs decide to show up with them, though, it's kind of annoying. I kind of plant myself right here to try and, like, body block them from coming over here. Yeah, let this be a lesson, everybody. Alright, if you can't see your problems, they can't hurt you. Oh, I think I'm gonna go in this path. Hopefully this is the one I'm thinking of, because there's an enemy type that hasn't shown up yet I want to show. Okay, yeah, I think this is it. So these guys are called Undertakers. They're weird little monkey men with assault rifles. They're the cause for, like, the hardest room in the game near the end. And this is the only game they ever appear in. Like, one of them right now is Donkey Kong rolling into me, pushing me around. So just like everything else, even if they're firing automatic weapons, as long as you can't see them, they cannot hurt you. They aren't real. This room's annoying. So one of the downsides of you just ramming your wiener into things to interact with them is, you know, sometimes, like right there, when I was trying to go through the door, he instead read the sign. There's another room that's just kind of laggy for no discernible reason. Oh my god, I didn't want to go through this door again. Okay. Yeah, for some reason once you go in there and come back out, there's a black tiger. So I guess on top of being a tyrant plant, this place also has a bunch of black tigers. That's the third one you see. It has 2 of the RE2 gators. Like, everything is just ramped up here, numbers-wise. That was just for me. I hate that room. That room in particular, the hunters are real bastards about just getting in your way and making things take as long as possible. Gotta scroll for 10 years to find your weapon.
Lot?
Also, I haven't mentioned it, but I feel like it's pretty apparent at this point, but there is no, like, inventory management or item boxes. This guy can just store an infinite number of things in his asshole. The raccoons have already come and stretched it out, make sure he had plenty of space. So this room is kind of an RNG. You can either have 1 or 2 X's here. I don't know if maybe there's like a sliding scale difficulty thing similar to like RE4 to determine it. But they also don't drop anything here, which is kind of annoying. But that'll get us our Magnum. So I always get it mixed up what order I need to do these rooms in. I'm probably wrong going in this door first. I can feel it. Yep, I'm fucking wrong. Son of a bitch. Fuck me. Now I look like an idiot. So you run through this room several times. This is kind of like a back and forth intersection. So normally I'd say kill those guys, but they seem to like endlessly respawn. Huh. What the hell am I forgetting about? Oh wait, yeah. Door right here. I always forget about this fucking door. I don't know why. Step on some glass for good luck. So this is a room where it's not a bad idea to kill the Lakers. They are kind of shits in that little narrow hallway there. But if you hug the wall, you can squeeze through typically. And now the ivies are out. Don't let them jizz in your face. It's poisonous. So now that I got the disc, I can go back to the place where I fucked up and went first. Got your staple naked zombies. You know, Code Veronica was a real trendsetter with the fact that they lead the game with naked zombies. Truly an icon. They seem to like emphasize these zombies for some reason, but they're just regular ass zombies. I don't really know what's up with that scene. There's a lot of things in this game that don't make sense. There's one guy that doesn't leave the room though. He's kind of shy. And I want the grenades. I want to make sure that the final encounter is as not grindy as possible. So now if I go back through this hallway again, I believe putting in that activation disc will allow me to move some shutters and get an ID card. Really wish there was more I could say, but this game is very bare bones. But it's one of those that should be experienced by everybody. I don't remember if Capcom actually was the development team on this or not. I feel like it couldn't have all been them at least. Okay, so this song is infamous. I don't know what the fuck they were doing, what the fuck happened. If you've ever watched Angry Video Game Nerd, I had never watched it until like last year when I just kind of binged it all. And I get it, I get why people liked it. But he reviewed this game and he mentions this song, and you can just hear, it's not like glitching, that is the actual song. It's like several people were working together on different parts, and then they just kind of threw them all together. Like right now, it kind of sounds okay.
They are creating these monsters
And then you
on
had
this island.
another weird instance where they really emphasize an enemy. They emphasize this X. They close the door. He gets a cutscene, but like, this dude is still just a regular Mr. X. Listen to that. It's like, I don't know if I can call this song worse than the RE1 basement theme fart trumpets, just because it has instances where it sounds listenable. But I feel like the lows of this track in particular are lower than the lows of the basement theme. So, this playthrough is almost over. I really wasn't exaggerating when I was talking about how short this game is. Have you ever wanted to see a child get tackled by a hunter?
Rod! Hang on!
So I believe outside of the zombie at the very beginning of the game that drops your first key, I believe this is the only non-boss enemy that you have to kill. I could be wrong on that. Well, I guess that also depends on if we're counting the Mr. X's as non-boss enemies.
It's not your fault. Vincent is the one who caused everything. Well, I mean,
You? What do you mean? You're the detective. Your name is Art Thompson.
What? Really?
This was a really cool
not
plot twist,
Vincent.
honestly.
Then why did you run away from me?
Because I'm the one that told Vincent about you.
Hello, I'm Vincent. I've been transferred to this facility to inspect it.
Nice to meet you, sir.
I know Commander Vincent. So I knew that you weren't him when I saw you.
What? A spy? Thank you. You are a good boy, Lot.
So then I'm Ark and not Vincent.
So Vincent has been dead the entire time.
Do you know of
He
any
was
way
the
to
body
get
that
off this
fell from the
island?
helicopter at the start of the game.
My dad told me that there's a railway station up ahead from here.
A railway station?
I heard that it runs underground.
Okay, we'll use that. Let's go get Lily. Go ahead! Hurry! We'll meet at the station.
The self-destruction system has been activated. This island will self-destruct in 10 minutes. All the personnel must evacuate immediately. Repeat, all the personnel evacuate
This is the most
immediately.
robotic sounding self-destruct announcement I have ever heard. Like, that sounded like an employee that really did not want to come into work.
That's right. At the request of my friend, Leon S. Kennedy, I came here
Name
to
drop.
investigate. Oh, yes. I remember everything.
Confirmed,
Tell me
Art
the
Thompson
truth.
here is friends
You
with
are a
Leon
spy,
Kennedy.
aren't you?
So that's how he got a hold of my dog tags at the start, and why it was misconstrued that his name was Art Thompson.
Yes, I'm not Vincent. I'm Ark.
He really milks this revelation, though. But, you know, good on him. He didn't commit, you know, inhuman atrocities. I'd be pretty hyped to find that out, too. That zombie was, like, photobombing me. Fuck off, nerd. I keep trying to quick turn and I feel like an idiot every time. Oh, he whipped me. Why'd you gotta do me like that? There's another track that I think is pretty good. It's so weird how, like, that one song in particular is just, like, unsavable liquid poop from a butt. When there are plenty of songs, when, like, most of the other songs are at least moderately okay.
Vincent.
If it wasn't for you, I could have completed my mission. Umbrella is going to take
Oh
care
no,
of
Vincent
me.
wasn't actually
But
dead.
You had to go and screw it all up. Now, you're going to pay.
That scratch looks like such dog shit. So that's the dude that was in the tube in the room I was just in. This is really, like, the least threatening, like, boss tyrant I feel like I've ever seen. Like, this feels like, kind of like a twink was just kept in a jar. So here I'm kind of demonstrating what I talked about before, how you can just kind of walk backwards to avoid most damage. Like, I could try and kite him around a lot, but it's like, as long as I can take a step backwards, I'm fine. There's also a really weird transformation scene. How his arm was like forcing him upward. Another... This hallway's weird. So, I don't know if it's based on the path you take or if it is just kind of RNG, but you can get different things that come out of those doors. Sometimes there'll just be nothing that comes out of them.
Get on the train! Hurry!
Detonation. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat. All personnel evacuate immediately.
So, coming up we have the final boss of the game. A lot of people will consider this room the final boss. So, now that I have pushed this switch, there are a metric fuck ton of Undertakers that are going to spawn behind me. And if I turn around, I'm essentially going to get met with a firing squad. There's like a scaffolding where they're kind of hanging out. This is, you know, outside of like the alligators in the sewers, this is the single, like, most threatening room in the game. If you don't handle it properly. So there's a scaffolding like right above me, and my goal there was to make sure I was never looking at the scaffolding, because there are like 4 dudes up there that will just light you up all at the same time. Just abrupt music. So, the only thing we have left now is the obligatory finale with a mutated tyrant. I mean, you know, the song and dance. You know, it's old Resident Evil times.
Get in the helicopter! It's still alive.
I love how he acts so shocked. So, this enemy, you know, this guy here, he can be kind of a threat if you don't control him. This fight is really the main reason I didn't want to use the mouse injector, because this is so easy with a mouse. And while it's not particularly hard with a controller, it is harder. I actually probably should be saving my magnum shots, but I honestly don't think it matters. Oh, didn't realize I was out of magnum ammo. Okay. So all the jumping around contributes to, like, the damage sponginess. Because it is also easy to miss shots if you're not playing with the mouse. But now his bussy is exposed. Now he's more of like an ape creature. This form I feel like is easier than the last one. This one, the walking backward strat, is a bit more consistent. Like if you can just get them to do the swipes. It's similar to, I guess, like maybe Nemesis in 3, where your whole aim is to not put too much distance between you and him. But he also likes to jump around a lot, so I don't always get a say. That is also, like, the only point in the game where hitting him in a certain spot, you know, the pulsating bussy on his chest, matters. It does do more damage.
Hurry!
We also don't get a rocket launcher finish, which feels criminal.
Detonation. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're safe.
It can't be!
We do get something a little bit more unique than a rocket launcher finish this time, though.
Get down!
Now, I don't know helicopters, I don't know if that's how these missiles would work. But it's unique. I'll give you that.
What are we gonna do, mister?
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
I don't know, but don't worry. We can fly as long as we have fuel.
Such a stupid line. But that was Resident Evil Survivor. It is a special game. I would love for Art Thompson to get acknowledged at some point in the future. You know, let him make a cameo appearance on RE9, and I will be just fucking stoked. I guess maybe some final thoughts. Like I said, I don't think this game is good. It's on the lower end of the RE games. I don't think it's terrible. If you're gonna play it, I would say play it with mouse injector. It is really easy to set up and use. And it makes the game a lot more tolerable. But a lot of the ideas from this game are kind of thrown out. Like, I don't know if if this particular island is ever mentioned again. I don't think Vincent is ever mentioned again. Ark's never mentioned again. Lily and Lot never show up or are mentioned again. But as far as I know, the game is canon. I believe the only Resident Evil game that is not canon is Gaiden. Which I love Gaiden. I think Gaiden is a fantastic game, and it is very underrated. But when we get to that, it will become very, very apparent why it's not canon. But I think this game is fun. I think it's worth a playthrough if you're ever just curious and you just kind of want to turn your brain off. You can see a pop up there. My best time I got for the speedrun in this game was 55 minutes. So even with forgetting, you know, the order of operations and showing things off that wasn't exactly time savvy, I still finished that game in just a little over, an hour and a quarter. No, I don't need to save it. I don't. But this was kind of a short one, but I knew it was going to be. And I kind of thought about maybe doing like an hour into Code Veronica tonight, but I figured Code Veronica deserves like its own time slot. It's a fantastic game. So I'll probably do that either tomorrow night or the night after. But anyway, for anybody that may have been watching or have stumbled upon this video, I hope you had fun. I hope maybe you learned something. This is part 4 of documenting my journey through the entire Resident Evil series. Good night. Have a good time. Laugh, smile, live your life. Have a good one. Goodbye.